criticism on the Fandom Menace. So I'm gonna give an analogy or an example which I think will sum up everything that I think about the weaknesses in the Fandom Menace. Weaknesses which I've become aware of in the last year, but of which I just, I showed signs of that weakness in the example I'm going to give a week ago. And this doesn't mean I don't support the Fandom Menace, because I'll explain why I do. I love the Fandom Menace because I want to destroy Disney Star Wars. So I'm on anybody's side who wants to, make The Rise of Skywalker fail, although it is failing on its own. So I went on Facebook and I wrote how, the other day I had to fill out a form where it said, what's your gender, male, female, or I don't identify as either. And I was like, this is just so ridiculous. And I'm just going to identify as God, and then I'll just click, I don't click. I'll just check, I don't identify as other, and as any. Because I'm like, why do we have 57 genders? Why don't we just have no gender? Why should you even have to write? I don't know. So, and I continue writing on Facebook. I write, if you want to, cut your dick off and you want to be a female, that's fine. And if you want me to call you she, that's fine. Her. But I'll never see you like that. I'll never actually see you as a female. And I would never date that. And it makes it awkward for when you're on dating websites, or even in person, when the person says, it's never really happened to me, but if the person all of a sudden told me, I used to have a dick, sorry, it's kind of a deal breaker for me, right? So I just talked about that. I will never see you as a female, and why are you trying to control my thinking to make me think that you're a female when I don't? It's one thing for you to want me to be respectful, but it's another thing for you to want me to believe something, for you to control my mind. So then a transgender person on my Facebook wrote to me and said, that just really upset me, and at least now I know where I stand with you. And that really upset me because I've kind of known that person through other people for, my whole life. So, that's hard. Not hard so much as it makes it more personal for oneself. So I spoke to my friend about it, and I'm like, you know what? It's my Facebook wall, and it's my safe space, and I just find it irritating and oppressive that I'm supposed to be told what I should think. And he's like, they're not telling you what to think. They never asked you what you think. They just want to be left alone. And you have to ask yourself, why do you feel the need? Why does it bother you so much? Because maybe it could be that it's coming from a place of hatred or bullying, because they're just trying to live a life. And he makes a good point. He goes, when does that actually make your life difficult? Transgenders. And I'm like, well, when I watch movies. And he goes, you got to stop watching these shitty Hollywood movies then. It's the stupidest thing in the world. And he even goes, you got to stop watching YouTube people, because they're all idiots. They've got nothing to say. They're so full of shit and uneducated. But he's educated, so, So the way this ties into the Fandom Menace is, I think it could have been even more effective if it had just focused on the fact that The Last Jedi was shit, instead of attacking gender politics. And I'm the most guilty of that, although because I haven't gotten any views, I guess I'm not the most guilty, but not for lack of trying. But that's how you attack The Last Jedi. It's a boring, crappy movie. Not because they're doing gender politics. Gender politics is fine. It doesn't really affect anybody. And if it does, then I guess you got to get a life, because actually, I take that back. It doesn't mean you have to get a life, but it should mean that you should examine why you have such a problem with gender politics. And I'm speaking of myself too. Because I don't think anybody would give a shit about a transgendered Superman if it worked. And if it, you liked it, like a good movie transcends everything. Like every kind of, it was a perfect movie, but I don't like the way they made his costume like that. You'll like the costume if they do a great job. And I mean, like, the real problem with Brie Larson is not that she hates white males. It pushes buttons for white males. And it brings out, she's trying to she's trying to push you to admit that you may have misogynistic views, and you probably do if those views are pushing your buttons. Certainly for me that's the case. But again, the problem with her is not that she hates white males, because she doesn't. She's too stupid to have any kind of views that would be threatening. The problem with her is that she's stupid. That's the really difficult thing, having to watch an interview where she says just dumb things. I mean, if she just came out and said, I hate white males, and then she was like really fun about it and made a great argument and showed how clever she is, I'd be like, yeah, cool, who cares? It wouldn't be a problem. But the thing is, when somebody says something really stupid the way she does, it's stupid to get offended, because it's like, would you be offended if a 5-year-old said something stupid? No, you'd just pat them on the head. I've often said Brie Larson is adorable, because she's almost adorable like a child is, because of the dumb shit that comes out of her mouth. I mean, I had to listen to a certain very popular YouTuber, even though he hated The Last Jedi, and I liked him. I enjoyed talking to him as if he's my friend, listening to him, because he just kept going on about how women shouldn't hate men so much, to the point where I think, women should just try to be equal to men. And it's just like, you're talking about the subject so much that it makes me actually, me think thou dost protest too much. Why must you talk about that so much? And then you gotta wonder, is their fan base based on, is it like a kind of hatred of, I don't know, not a hatred of women, but that you want them to be subservient. I'm starting to think that is the case with your YouTube channel, speaking of the person in question. I don't need to say who it is, just because who cares? It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to not give them publicity. I just don't want to bash them. I mean, as far as The Last Jedi puts down men and puts down white men, it's comically badly done. It's done like the way a 5-year-old would do it. And that's the sad thing. It's just stupid and boring. I said it a million. If The Last Jedi did a good job of putting down men and putting down white men, people would still like it. White men would still like it, because they'd be like, well, at least it was smart. I mean, I don't mind somebody who has an opinion that I disagree with, as long as the opinion's well thought out and interesting. I'll still say I disagree with you, but it was fun. It's fun to hear you talk. I mean, the idea that The Last Jedi presents and Ghostbusters presents that women are smarter than men because men are, by showing men that are stupider than them, right? The only reason Admiral Holdo is intelligent and a great leader is because Poe Dameron is such an ineffective idiot, is a laughable way of doing it. And it's not going to destroy white men. There's no danger there, right? I don't think there is. And look, and the proof is in the pudding. I mean, I think the whole movement of doing that in movies has colossally failed, to the point that it's not going to be tried again. And, that's evidenced in The Rise of Skywalker, where we're seeing fan service, where we're not seeing anymore. They just get rid of Rose Tico right away. And they let men be powerful. So, I mean, it clearly didn't work. They probably won't try it again. It's probably done. And the person I'm mentioning, I wouldn't be surprised if anybody who listens can guess who it is, who the person who I stopped listening to because I felt like it was just, you're talking way too much about the gender thing. What was I going to say? Oh, I think the main reason I stopped listening to his YouTube channel was because he was starting to sound too much like a prophet. Like going, listen, anybody's allowed to believe anything they want. I hate it when I hear YouTubers say that, because it's like, oh, thanks for letting me know I can think anything I want. Or the other one is, if you like it, you're free to like it if you want. I mean, I don't hate you if you like it. It's like, oh, well, I know I'm free to like it. Thank you. Like, you didn't need to remind me of that. Like, you're talking to me like I'm a cult member, Everybody's free to like The Last Jedi if they want. Well, it's a given. Like, do I really need to say in every video I make that it's okay if you disagree with me and this is just my opinion? I mean, when I do say it's just my opinion, as Mahler's like, people say it's just my opinion to get off the hook to say whatever they want. I almost mean it like the reverse. I'll say it's just my opinion to try to make them feel better if I feel like they're in fear that my opinion is going to become theirs because they're so lacking in their own thoughts. Like, I'll say The Last Jedi is shit. It's a shit movie, and I don't believe anybody likes it. I don't believe anybody who says they like it. It is an objectively shit movie. I don't need to say that's my opinion because you already know that. And if it hurts your feelings, well, then maybe you can't handle other people's beliefs. If I say that Green Day is a shitty band and you get offended, well, like, I don't know, don't take it so seriously. It's just a stupid band. Like, they're not your religion. It's not like I insulted your religion. And even if I did insult your religion, it would still be just my opinion. Like, you shouldn't take it so seriously. Yeah, I went off topic, but it really is annoying to me when I hear otherwise good YouTubers say, you're allowed to like The Last Jedi. I don't care. Go for it if you want. I'm personally boycotting it, but you can go see it if you want. It's like, why would you think to say that? Like, you just go, I'm boycotting The Last Jedi, period. I mean, that's why I don't mind just coming on and saying, Last Jedi shit. Nobody should watch it. Everybody should hate it. Nobody likes it. Because you should already know that it's just my opinion. So I don't mind just saying, this is the fact. And without saying, according to me, or this is not, I'm not talking about the gospel. I love the gospel of Mark according to the sea. but no, I'm just saying you can't be offended if somebody doesn't say, it's just my opinion. Getting back to the point, though, it's simply that if you find yourself talking a lot about gender politics, as I have been finding myself, yeah, you have to ask, like, why am I thinking and talking about this so much? Because it hasn't had an impact. It's been a colossal failure. So what's the point? I mean, am I being a bully when I'm just going on about it to death? Because it's just is it a cheap shot? And is it an easy way? Am I hate mongering? Am I getting a bunch of people to agree with me? Not because it's not a valid point, but because it's an easy point, and it's also that, like, Jesus Christ, as far as I'm concerned, the last Jedi is like a 5-year-old kid with Down syndrome. It never had a chance. So you don't, I mean, the hate has to stop just because I have to move on with my life. Like, it failed. I mean, isn't it almost unanimous that it failed? I mean, it's kicking a horse while it's down, or a dog, or whatever the expression is. You know what it's kind of like? Most of the most popular Fandom Menace people, they are still going on about the same subject 5 times a day. Specific subject 5 times a day, 2 years after it happened. And I guess it is like whining about your ex-girlfriend when you should have gotten over her by now. You know, and then everybody else is watching it because they're the whiners too. I've never seen anybody go on, beat a dead horse more than me before until I went on YouTube. Like, you could remove gender entirely from The Last Jedi and none of the problems would be any better. Like, Holdo, and everybody would agree with, I'm just saying that, like, even mentioning the gender shit, well, that's something behind the scenes. Like, if you want to talk about how Kathleen Kennedy is saying obnoxious things about women, that's fine. But if Rose Tico was a male, a white male, and he said, let's go to a casino planet and ride horses and do nothing that affects the plot, it would be just as stupid and despicable. And if Holdo was a man who, you know, was outwitting everybody by being stupid, it would be just as annoying. So it doesn't even matter to bring it up. Like, and if Disney wants to bring it up as an excuse for the movie sucking, that's fine. But I mean, don't take the bait. I liked Rey in The Force Awakens, even though I didn't like The Force Awakens for plot reasons, for every other reason. I mean, I don't think I need to explain the reasons, but I liked Rey, and I thought that he had good chemistry with Finn. I was surprised they were actually not that bad. I mean, they were never going to be the next Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and I knew the thing was a catastrophe. But I mean, they weren't difficult to watch. You know, she was well written considering how shit the story was and that it was a remake. I had never had a problem about the main Jedi being a female. Not once. It never occurred to me. I thought it was refreshing, in fact. So I think I'm repeating myself now, so I'll end the video. Happy New Year, everyone. Sorry for complaining in the new year. You know what? Whatever. Everybody else complains on YouTube. If you like gays, click like. If you like blacks, comment. If you like women, click notification bell. If you like gay women, subscribe. And if you like gay black women, Patreon, Human Warnings, give